William Demeo and the cast and crew of Gravesend Season 2 have recently taken over the Chazz Palminteri podcast to talk about their new season. You might know famous actor Chazz Palminteri from his tear-jerking performance in the movie Little Man. Or his terrifying performance as the villain Smokey the Cat from Stuart Little.
Say goodnight, Tinkerbell.
But of course, Chazz Palminteri is best known for writing and starring as Sonny in A Bronx Tale.
Who in the world could have played a better Sonny than you? Who in the world could have played a better Sonny than you?
The Bronx Tale was a one-man show first.
I started spending a lot of time with Sonny, and I make all the guys cappuccino. Hey, Sonny, should I tell the kid to get the mop?
Everybody knows you never go full retard.
And now he's in Gravesend Season 2.
And then we bring great characters like you're the character you play, Caesar Tramaldo.
After getting the money he wanted.
But you know what's amazing? Because Will wanted me 2 years ago, but I can only do it if I get my money. You know?
Where's my money? Give me my money!
You want me, you gotta pay me. Because
I want my motherfucking money. I want a motherfucking check.
Because, as we stated in the previous video, Chazz Palminteri has non-stop lawsuits coming out of his mismanaged restaurant.
And I love my restaurants. Great food. Two great Italian restaurants.
Just like every other washed-up actor who thinks people actually care what they have to say, Chazz Palminteri created his own podcast, with all the recent episodes featuring interviews with each of the cast members of Gravesend Season 2.
Some of the guys that are on your show today are friends of mine, too, that you were interviewing.
Having on people such as William Demeo, Penis Nose, Big Time Tommy, Sandy Blue Eyes, Vic Dibitetto, Steve Monorata, and finally Tony Darrow, Vincent Pastore, and Chuck Zito. The first interview we're going to go over is with the man himself, William Demeo, who talks about his role in The Bronx Tale since it was Chazz's movie and Demeo's first film. Here he once again tells a story about how he was picked to have a speaking line, just like he does in every other interview.
All the stickball kids said, everyone line up against the wall. And Robert De Niro walks over. The first person he pointed to was me. They line all the kids against the wall, and Mr. De Niro comes over. And the first person he picked was me. Then he lined us up against the wall. You know, Robert De Niro came to pick 3 kids out of the group. First one he picked was me.
Will once again touts the new cast of the upcoming season.
The legends like you and Armand Asante, Vic Dibitetto, and Tommy and Gaudio, Al Sichelli. It just goes on and on and on.
And as the balls compared to the Expendables.
I feel like people are saying that we have the Expendables of the wise guys.
No one says that.
Like Joseph D'Onofrio and Lou Lombardi come anywhere close to the talent of Sylvester Stallone, Dolph Lundgren, and Jason Statham. After pointing out Chazz's son and daughter in the show.
Son is in the show as well.
Yes, my daughter.
Demeo makes sure to directly refute a point I made in my last video.
That I want to bring up about your daughter. Everyone needs to know that your daughter earned that role.
Yes.
Because of her talent.
Definitely agreeing with Demeo to be in his film if he uses it as a platform to push his daughter's acting career. I'm guessing Chazz saw the video and told Demeo beforehand to address this point.
Nobody's gonna hire you because you're my daughter. Nobody's gonna hire you because you're my son.
Like I pointed out in my Stop the Steal video and is pointed out in The Hollywood Reporter, Demeo pretty much fully admits to stealing scenes from other properties.
Look, there's gonna be similarities to anything. You can't do something without similarities. It's always going to sell because, listen, I mean, everyone loved The Sopranos every Sunday. Because a guy that puts a suit on, manicured nails, pinky ring on, can walk into a place and thinks he's a mobster. Around real guys, the real guys know.
They're on to us!
The next interview is with Big Time Tommy, who gives us some insight on his personal life and career. Big Time Tommy has a huge love for cars, which we'll get to later. But his passion and big personality led him and his friends to land their own show called Carfellas.
Basically, me, Mike, and Mario were found for a reality show called Carfellas,
where they're supposed to be talking about cars, but are too busy arguing over food.
Way to Carfellas.
I could take a pizza I want.
No, you can't!
Mine.
That was yours in front of you! It's not proper pizza etiquette!
For a guy who ate a raw egg on camera, you would think he would care less about what slice of pizza he got. Big Time Tommy then brings up the fact that he has 27 Cadillacs.
I have 27 caddies.
Looking like a crazy cat lady with no kids, but instead of cats, he has cat-a-lacs.
My babies are my Cadillacs. I have 27 caddies.
Big Time Tommy also talks about his love of cigars and his cigar business.
I need a light!
As you can see from the burnt cigar hole in his shirt. Tommy then talks about the Goodfellas TikTok they made on the set of Gravesend Season 2.
God, we did the reenactment of that Goodfellas thing.
There was Tommy and
How you doing? Instagram is Big Time Tommy.
Frankie Carbone.
He claims theirs is so good that no one should ever try it again.
People are saying it's the best one to date, that nobody tried doing it again.
Right.
Even though no one could line their mouths up and half of them had no idea what the fuck they were saying. Big Time Tommy then starts promoting season 2 of Gravesend, hyping it up and acting like it's not complete shit.
Season 2 is going to be explosive.
Oh, yeah.
Powerful.
Best season ever!
I'm not just saying because I'm actually part of it. Great actors that you want to see.
How about new?
The writing was done, that Willie did, was unbelievable.
That is one big pile of shit.
And finally, Tommy ends the interview with his signature outro.
OS for life. Take it easy.
Amazing.
The next interview we're going to go over is Penis Nose, who looks like Gonzo from the Muppets the entire interview. They also talk about The Bronx Tales. It was Peter's first and only real movie. Being the highlight of his career, Peter's obsessed with this film, as he brags about having every actor's film career written down, and can name every cast member off the top of his head.
Wow. I can give you 10 off the top of my head right now.
Wow. Like who?
William Demeo was 1. Myself is 2. Joseph D'Onofrio 3.
Fucking spooks came right in my own fucking neighborhood.
Louis Veneria is 4.
You forgot Lilo Brancato at 5, but I think we know why he purposely forgot him. Peter then talks about working out, as we can see he's clearly obsessed with it, as it's all he posts about on Instagram, and his body's juiced up to a point where he doesn't even look human.
Season 3, I says I'm going to write out the nutrition program.
Peter then gives the first public acknowledgement of Gravesend Season 3. The interview ends with Peter's fan fiction that gives us a little insight into what he thinks about himself, as he describes what it would be like if he starred in Gravesend instead of Will.
Because there's never been a mob boss that had a shredded physique. That's why he's so mind-strong and he's headstrong.
You're retarded.
The next interview we're going to go over is Vic
Dibitetto. Vic, look,
Dibitetto.
who gives a great interview, seeming like a genuine nice guy and is really funny. Here Vic goes over the highlight moments and jokes of his career.
This maniac, gotta get the bread and milk. I want to go to touch my hole. She meant the Taj Mahal. She calls the UPS truck the up your ass truck.
While also having some personal heartfelt moments.
Chamonix.
Oh my God, Mama used to say that. Oh
Exactly.
my God.
Yeah.
I got goosebumps. Hey. And my son, he came out 7 years ago. But what are you going to do? That's my blood. That's my son.
Overall, it's a fantastic interview, and I suggest you go watch it yourself.
Gravesend coming out this year.
And that's where I grew up.
You grew up on
and I did a...
Finally, I was going to watch the Tony Darrow interview, but Chazz Palminteri had no voice whatsoever.
Legendary. Tony Darrow is here with us today.
And the mics were so low, I couldn't hear a single thing they were saying.
Marty really liked me. He introduced me to Irwin Winkler.
I can't hear you!
This interview was so boring and put me to sleep anyway, consisting of nothing but 2 old men telling stories to each other.
And Corn Pop was a bad dude, and he ran a bunch of bad boys.
Overall, the rest of the interviews are pretty boring, just going over the quote-unquote careers of these people. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Stay tuned for my other Will Demeo videos, and stay tuned for my Gravesend Season 2 videos.